Hey there, friends. It's Tara-Nicholle Nelson here. I am the CEO of SoulTour.com and the founder of SoulTour's School of Spiritual Strategy. I'm here with the next episode in my series that I'm calling 2020 Vision, because the whole intention, the divine download that I received, was to share with you what I do to gear up, to level up in the next year, which is 2020, that year that seems so iconic and futuristic. So we're going to have this long, lavish, luxurious on-ramp to 2020. And I really want to just help you come into 2020 with a clear, decisive, focused vision, and all sort of tuned in and tuned up and ready, utterly unresistant, having released all your inner resistance, having seen already arise your inner roadblocks and allowed them to release, and also just having geared up and resourced up with everything that you need to create the new reality you want to create in 2020. So I want you, this is what I've been thinking about a lot this last couple of days, is about celebrations and completions. For so many people in my world, 2019 has really been a year of building, a year of progress. Now, progress and building often starts with demolition. Building often starts, catch this principle. Building often starts with demolition. Demolition is if you get a bid from a contractor to do work on your home or to build you a house, the very first line item on that bid is going to be demolition, because that's actually part of the process. All right. So progress doesn't always feel good. Progress can feel like loss before it feels like progress. And especially when you've surrendered into divine order, you have to understand that divine order is not logical or linear, meaning divine order, allowing divine order to light up the right steps on the perfect path for your life, the genius path for your life, the one that flows from the intelligence and creative power that formed all worlds. When you allow that to run your life instead of trying to force everything to be the way that you want it to be, you will often find yourself in seasons of transition or progress that feel very disorienting. And I mean disorienting in this way. Divine order can take you from A to B to G to L, back to C, to pick up some stuff you needed to deal with at C before you get to D to E, but then can accelerate you all the way to Z, right? So sometimes it's like you got picked up off a map and you're put down on the map in a place you've never been, and you don't know the language there, and you don't know how people do stuff there. You don't know how these people operate. So divine order can be very disorienting, and the progress you make when you're in surrender to divine order can feel like loss before it feels like progress. That said, this year, I want you to celebrate what you've experienced this year. I want you to baptize everything that you've experienced this year as success. I want you to literally just set some time aside in your journaling or your reflection or your meditation, whatever your walks, whatever your practice is. Be intentional about thinking through and reflecting on what progress you made this year, even if you're still in the disorientation phase. And use the mantra, I learn from every experience. I baptize every experience I've had this year as success. And in that way, tune yourself in to extract the wisdom, insight, clarity about what you do really want, whatever it is, whatever progress juice you can get out of what you've experienced already this year. I want you to get it, and I want you to celebrate the progress, even if it still feels weird because you're not in that old landscape that you knew so well. So celebrations is one piece of this, and then completions is the other piece. Now, completions are something I do very systematically and in a rigorous, intentional, guided way with people in my programs, but I'll just share the concept with you here. Completions are a spiritual strategy that we use to handle and clean up any unfinished business, unresolved messy or complicated items, or just items or projects that we've been avoiding in the preceding season. So anything that's on your mind is kind of an open loop in your head that's taking up a lot of your emotional bandwidth. Maybe it's become a focus of worry, or it would really just feel like freedom or a breakthrough if you got this project done this year. It would open up new emotional bandwidth, spiritual bandwidth, energy, maybe even time, money, or other resources. If you were able to have that that life force and energy back to devote to another, part of your new reality you want to create next year, that's a completion. So just like I want you to capture and reflect on and journal and celebrate and revel in your progress, I also want you to start to capture and literally write down on a piece of paper, the completions that you would like to make, the open loops. Maybe there are tasks that you've been thinking about that you want to get to. Maybe it's things you've been avoiding. Maybe it's filing your taxes, or cleaning out your crawl space, or having a hard conversation with someone, or putting an end to an obligation that you've outgrown. Whatever it is, anything. I love this definition from Maston Kipp of open loops. Anything. It doesn't even have to be a thing that you could necessarily get done in a few minutes or in a few days. It could be anything that's just on your mind persistently that you want to get done now, later, or someday. And I like to think of my open loops as falling into several categories. Sort of my inspired ideas, good, better, and best, sometimes maybe not even so good, just get them down. All of the thoughts I've been having that felt like a bolt of inspiration, and all of the just tasks I've been mentally juggling that are kind of just clogging up my pipeline of inspiration, because I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta do that, I gotta do that, I gotta do that. All I'm asking you to do right now is to capture them on paper. All right. If you'd like to, over the next few weeks, you can take a few moments here and there and knock out the ones that are very quick. You can start to maybe put some time on your calendar to actually do. I'm a big fan of using your calendar as your servant, not your master. Put some time on your calendar to take care of some of the bigger ones. But yeah, just for now, just capture them. What you want to do is get them out of your head and onto the page, so they will stop occupying so much of your emotional bandwidth and life force. And you can start just sort of, clearing space for what's fresh and new coming to you next year, by opening your inner pipeline of inspiration and getting these tasks and mental almost like ruminations, things that you've been ruminating onto the page. All right, that's it for me. This is the 2020 Vision Series. If you have other questions for me that you'd like for me to answer in one of these videos about how you can make, your entry into 2020 really powerful and easeful, how you can get into receptive mode so that you download all this inspiration about how you want to come into the next year, and how you can start releasing your inner roadblocks to whatever is coming, whatever wonderful, beautiful, brilliant things are coming your way in 2020. Just drop them into the comments and I will try to get to them. All right, guys, see you soon.